All right. Let's turn the lights up in here. All right, let's get into serious mode, guys. All right, I'm gonna wait till the stream is up. I'm gonna wait to say my hellos to everybody. I'm in super weird drinking giant things of Gatorade mode. Once I know I'm live, I probably should have changed the title. Got way ahead of myself. Let me change the title of my stream real quick. There we go.
It's 7 a.m.
And you guys can hear that, and I apologize. There we go. Alright guys, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be recording my own, what I'm doing right now. I'm going to be recording it and doing it live. I'm going to be posting this right here, you see it, on YouTube. So all this is going to be used. Obviously, I'm not going to include chat for privacy purposes. So basically, I'm just going to get started with this right away. In this video, pretty much going to be going over the Wolves Den and PvP. There's a lot to say here. They revealed PvP abilities. They revealed PvP gear. Of course, we know the rules and things like that, but we're going to go over all the basics with this right now. So clearly by now everybody knows, and if you don't, PvP is the Wolves Den. That is going to be the name of the PvP arena. Now, there is a prerequisite quest before you can do it. You can get the prerequisite quest at level 30, and there are locations here located on the 2.1 patch notes. Limsa, New Gridania, and Ul'dah all have their own NPCs. Personally, I like the Ul'dah NPC, whose name is Swift, but the quest's name is A Pup No Longer, and you're going to be getting those from your respective Grand Companies, Immortal Flames, Twin Adders, or the Maelstrom. There is a location to the Wolves Den. It is actually in the Moraby Dry Docks in Lower Lenosha. You can already go there right now before 2.1 is going to, before 2.1 even drops. You can already go there and visit there. I've got footage from there, so you know what. And don't worry, I am reading chat, but I got to make sure that this video is going out to people and people can relate to it who aren't watching me live right now. You know, I got to thank everybody, guys. So there's 4 types of queues that you can do for PvP. Now, there's level 30 and above, 40 and above, 50. There's 2 50 ones. One of them is random queues. You can queue with 1 to 3 people and get matched up with other random groups, or you can queue with all 4 people and level 50, and it's pre-mates versus pre-mates, which either way, it looks like it's just a matter of your play preference. We're going to get into the PvP ranks in a little bit and what sort of influence they have on the game. Personally, I really like a lot of the things they're doing with requirements for PvP gear, because yes, we did find out there will be requirements for PvP gear, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. So let's move on with that. Let's move on with this. You can already see this right here on my screen. Rules are simple enough. Kill all 4 of the enemy fresh meats. That's right, everybody's going to be called fresh meat. Been some controversy over this, but personally, I don't have a problem with it. You can see people's names at the end of the game still, but it kind of makes me wonder why they even bothered with fresh meat if you're going to see the person's name at the end of the game anyway. If it was for the whole griefing reason, then that doesn't really make sense, because you can still see who they are and grief them after the match. But we'll see if they ever undo it. Personally, I don't care too much, but we'll see what happens. So there have been some battle mechanic changes, just these 2 tabs right here. Casting will always be interrupted upon receiving direct damage, and damage dealt by bows will vary depending on distance from the target. So, bards have already gotten a slew of bad news about some of their utility and some of their DPS cooldowns. In all reality, bards did not get hit that hard, in my opinion. Bards are still going to be super useful, especially with some of the other changes to battle, but that's for a different video. I'm not going to go over that in this one, trust me. So, casting will always be interrupted upon receiving a direct damage. Not exactly what it says. Somewhere else in this notes it says they're going to make sure that casters aren't interrupted automatically after 1 attack. I guess that's in PvE only. I thought they would do that in PvP, because casters, man, casters are going to have some problems if that's the case, because monks are going to rip them to shreds and never let them cast anything. Sure cast and swift cast, you better be sure you're going to use them. But let's keep moving on. So, class and job actions. Now, this is really where the big thing is. There's a bunch of PvP abilities listed right here. So, in addition to your normal actions, you do get exclusive actions and traits. Now, this is gonna get confusing because there's typos all over the place here because of the Japanese to English translations. But let's go over the basics. So, Gladiator and Paladin has 2 abilities. They have Testudo and Glory Slash. Testudo reduces the damage taken by target party member by 30%. So it's a defensive cooldown that you can use on a party member. Think of it like cover, but it reduces all the damage that party member takes. Now, what's interesting, first of all, you cannot be casting yourself. What's interesting is that Enhanced Testudo, Testudo, just making sure I'm pronouncing that right, shortens the recast time, and then you have 2 and 3, although they say 2 again, which extends the duration and increases damage reduction to 50%. Now, this is sort of interesting the way that they're doing this. So, traits and abilities can be purchased with action points, which are earned by fighting PvP battles. So you get points and wolf marks. Those are two different things that you get. Wolf marks can be spent on gear, and action points can be spent on the abilities. So once you've learned the abilities, you then have enhanced versions of the skill. Enhanced effects depend varying on the skill. There's not too much detail going into the enhanced versions of this, just that they exist. So Enhanced Testudo shortens recast down to 3 minutes. Enhanced Testudo 2 extends duration to 16 seconds. Enhanced Testudo 3, although it says 2 again, increases damage reduction to 50%. So there are going to be ways to enhance these skills on the fly in battle. I'd imagine these aren't things that you can just do automatically before the battle starts, but we will see. It seems like there's going to be very specific ways to enhance them. It may be related to PvP rank, and they were sort of insinuating that before, that depending on your PvP rank, the skills may become more powerful to sort of give people more power towards the end game of PvP, which I personally enjoy. Now, Glory Slash delivers an attack with a potency of 140 to all enemies in a cone, and it removes 1 beneficial status effect. Tell me you're not going to want a Paladin on your team when you can just swipe down everybody and get rid of all of their buffs. 1 buff each, clearly, but then it's got a super long recast. So as you can see, Enhanced Glory Slash has its recast time reduced to 3 minutes. So this apparently has like a 5-minute cooldown or something like that. 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. And then you also have the enhanced one that increases the potency to 200. Now that's it for Gladiator and Paladin abilities, so not a lot. However, we are going to get into some abilities that do go beyond the borders of just Gladiator Paladin. As you can see, we have Gladiator Paladin, Marauder Warrior here. Now we're going to go through to Marauder and Warrior. Now, Mithril Tempest and Thrill of War are the 2 Marauder Warrior specific abilities. Mithril Tempest is a 10 Yalm knockback and stun. Stun duration is 2 seconds, and it delivers an attack to all nearby enemies, so it's in an area around that. It's actually an ability that you see used sometimes by NPCs, so if you've ever seen that ability, it's pretty much the same thing. Again, shortening the recast, increasing the potency, and increasing the duration of the stun are all effects of the enhanced Mithril Tempest. So, Thrill of War, increase max HP of self and nearby party members. Basically, it's an AoE Thrill of Battle. That's basically what it comes down to. Lasts 15 seconds, and as usual, extending the duration, shortening the recast, and increasing the HP and restoration to 25% are the enhanced effects. Now we have Full Swing, which is for all tanks, Gladiator, Paladin, Warrior, whatever you're going to play it as. Stuttering over my words a little bit. Delivers an attack with a potency of 150, deals damage over time with a potency of 30 for a duration of 15 seconds. It also increases the opponent's damage taken for 15 seconds by 10%. Now, again, enhanced, shortens recast, increases duration, increases HP. I mean, yeah, well, pretty much does all these things. These are just, pretty much the enhanced abilities are completely standard in all this. It actually looks like they accidentally copy and pasted Thrill of War, because these are the exact same effects. It's hard to tell. It could literally have, the increased HP and restoration isn't even an effect, so that's obviously a copy-paste error, so they should really look these things over before they send them out. Because look at this, increases HP, that's not even an effect. What are you talking about? Stop copying and pasting stuff and getting lazy and not deleting it. Oh, man. Alright, anyway, moving on. Pugilist and Monk. We got Axe Kick and we got Somersault. Axe Kick delivers an attack with a potency of 160 to all nearby enemies, and it pacifies them for 5 seconds, disallowing them to use weapon skills. Honestly, Monks just became just ridiculous with that right there. Sure, it's got a long cooldown, probably about 4 or 5 minutes, but still. It also grants Grease Lightning 3 immediately. Like, really? That is a crazy ability. Imagine we had that in PvE. That would be unbelievable. Again, it increases duration, increases the potency, and shortens the recast with the enhanced effects. As for Somersault, this one decreases the spell speed of the target by 30%. That is a lot. You hit a healer with that, they ain't healing nobody. They're going to get silenced, stunned, knocked down, knocked back, anything. They are just going to get annihilated with this. Of course, the enhanced effects are pretty much the same. One increases the spell speed reduction to 50%. That would be unbelievable if we actually... Oh, man, I don't even want to... We're just getting way ahead of ourselves on this one, so... Let's move on to Feder Ward. This one's Pugilist, Monk, Lancer, Dragoon. Don't know why they did it before Lancer, Dragoon, but regardless, just keep this in mind for the Lancer, Dragoon part. Grants immunity to stun, sleep, bind, heavy, and disease for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is a really short time, though. It seems to have like a 3-minute recast because the enhanced one shortens it down to 120. Enhanced Feder Ward, by the way, I just realized... These are traits that you can probably buy, these enhanced abilities. They're most definitely traits you can buy with your action points, because there's no way these things are just during battle. You're probably going to have to spend action points on these enhanced abilities in order for you to actually get use out of them. I should have read that a little bit more clearly when I read the action points part, but either way, we're figuring it out now, and as long as we know it before the end of the video, that's pretty much all that matters. Next we have, for Lancer and Dragoon, we have Impulse Rush and Skewer. Now, Impulse Rush delivers an attack with a potency of 200, reduces weapon skill TP cost by 30%, and waives directional requirements in combos. That is big, because that is a huge question on people's mind. What am I going to do about directional, you know, if I have to hit them from the side, if I have to hit them from behind? Lancer and Dragoon doesn't have that problem. For 10 seconds every few minutes, pretty much, they don't have that problem. So, again, enhanced are all the same thing. I'm not even going to go over the enhanced ones for the rest of it. You can see them right on the screen. They're usually an increase in the reduction, in extending the duration or shortening the recast almost every single time. Skewer delivers an attack with a potency of 180, and it reduces the target's int by 20%. Pretty much a soul, you know, black mage summoner counter ability. Of course, it's going to affect white mages and scholars who are casting their spells, but it's going to be focused on those targets. Now, we're getting over into Archer and Bard, which has 3 abilities, I guess because they're lumping them in and they don't really have a subclass division that reaches out to them. So they have 3 abilities. First of all, they have Mana Song. Now, a lot of people are going, why do they have Mana Song? They have Ballad. Well, this one's a little bit stronger. This one restores 25% of maximum NP for all nearby members. Doesn't say over time. They just sing and you get it back immediately, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And of course, increasing the MP recovery rate to 40% is massive. Next is Farshot, delivers a ranged attack with 140 potency. Now, what's interesting about this is, as I said before, bow damage is reduced at farther range. This potency is not affected by distance, so it's definitely going to be useful for executing targets and making sure it's like, okay, that guy is low. With my distance, I can't kill him. Far shot, Misery's End, he's done. Next you have, and its additional effect is attacks delivered with a critical hit rate, attack delivered with critical hit rate increased by 15%, so it's got a high chance of critting. And of course you have the enhanced versions of it that buff it even farther. Blast Shot delivers an attack with a potency of 150 to target and enemies near it. It has a 10 Yalm knockback to around the area that you hit. So you shoot it at an enemy, and then it knocks everyone around that enemy back. So it's a strong displacement ability. If a group is tight-knit and you need to separate them, this is an ability that will definitely do that for you. Now, that's it for Archer and Bard. I really like those abilities, actually. I'm really impressed with Farshot, Mana Song, and Blast Song. Great support and damage. Definitely playing to the theme of the Bard. Definitely a good addition. Now, we just have Conjurer White Mage, Black Mage, and Summoner, pretty much. Summoner and Scholar left. So let's go into it right now. Sacred Prism envelops a designated area in the Vale of Succor, healing any who enter and nullifying 40% of physical damage. So basically, Sacred Prism is like your Sacred Soil, except that it actually nullifies damage and it heals you over time. So I think this is everybody's dream Sacred Soil. I bet you everybody wishes this was a PvE ability. Unfortunately, guys, it's not. I know I wish it was. Again, also though, this is a White Mage ability, so keep in mind Scholar could have something completely different for this, but I think that is really cool that White Mage is getting an ability like that, a Holy Ground sort of ability. Divine Breath resurrects a target at 10% maximum HP MP TP. It doesn't say if it has a cast time, so it might just be instant. That's a pretty big deal. You're definitely, if you have a White Mage on your team, they're going to want increased HP MP TP recovered by 50%. There's no doubt. They're going to have it. That's going to be such a big requirement in the higher ranks for PvP. And that's really cool. That's like a mandatory. I mean, all the PvP abilities seem pretty mandatory, but that seems like it's mandatory for every team to have in like your, oh man, what am I going to do moment? We just lost her. Get him back. Moving over, Thaumaturge and Black Mage. First ability is Nightwing. Puts a target and enemies near it to sleep. Pretty simple. It only lasts 10 seconds, though. And it doesn't seem like it has a cast time either. So, and of course, the extensive duration of 20 seconds will be the second trait that you can buy for it. There's so many traits you're going to be able to buy. This is going to be insane if you're going to want to PvP with multiple jobs. Whew. Anyway, moving on, their other ability is Phantom Dart, which if anyone who played 1.0, you remember Phantom Dart, and I'm happy to have it back. But let's see what it does. It deals unaspected damage with a potency of 120. Very similar to Scathe, it seems. However, it has an additional effect that reduces the target's elemental resistances by 10%. So everybody's saying that resistances isn't really a big deal. Maybe when you have 10% less of them, it'll be a big deal, because that sounds like it's going to hurt a lot. Sure, the ability itself isn't that great, and you're really going to have to make use of it in those 15 seconds. But I can see targets getting blown up with those reduced abilities. When you combo some of these other PvP abilities, it is going to be tons of fun if you ask me. Now, Misty Veil reduces the target's range by 10%. This is actually, I feel like I've seen this before. Like, this is, I don't know, I feel like I've seen this ability before in some sort of iteration. Maybe, I don't know. But regardless, the range cannot be reduced to less than 3 yalms. That's a big deal. That means that if I'm a bard and I'm max ranging you and an arcanist comes up and goes, yo, by the way, no more, I'm going to have to move closer to hit them. So I don't get it. I guess it's going to be probably pretty useful. And of course, the range reduction being increased to 30% by Enhanced Misty Veil 3, going to be pretty crazy. Anyway. So, Wither deals unaspected damage with a potency of 170 to all enemies in a cone before you, and it also removes 1 beneficial status effect, very similar to Glory Slash, and it only has 1 enhanced ability, so you don't have to spend that many points on this one, probably. Probably going to be good for removing Stone Skin. If the enemy party's grouped up and you pop this or Glory Slash, they are losing all of their buffs, because that is a lot of buffs that you can get rid of right there. Now we're moving on to Scholar specifically, and it looks like we have some more unique abilities here at the bottom. I don't know why they threw them in at the bottom like this, but it seems that Scholar is not the end of it for everything. Aura Blast deals unaspected damage with a potency of 150 to all nearby enemies, so it has to be near the Scholar. It has a 10 yalm knockback, so this is pretty much just an AoE. Think of it like Fluid Aura, but it's an AoE knockback. It's pretty much the best way I can think to put it, which is definitely good for disengaging targets off of you. Focalization increases nearby parties' elemental resistances by 15%. This will be good against magic-heavy compositions. Of course, this ability has almost no use against non-magic-heavy compositions. There are going to be compositions that don't have black mages in them or summoners, so not sure I like it limiting like that, like it not having sort of a secondary use, but we'll see how it plays out in the actual game itself, how it might affect skills at least like Dragonfire Dive or Flaming Arrow, if those are even registered as fire damage like they're supposed to be, because they seem to deal physical damage. Now we seem to have some more abilities down here. We actually have quite a few abilities, and then we're going to get into the traits. Now, oh man, I just read one of them ahead of time, and that's insane. But anyway, delivers, okay, so Weapon Throw is the first one. This one has a 20% chance of inflicting heavy when dealt from behind, but it's a ranged attack. So if somebody's running away from you, Pugilist, Monk, Lantern, Dragoon have a skill that they can throw that has a chance at slowing them down. It also removes Sprint while you're behind a target. So if a white mage tries to sprint away from you, you can just use this ability, get rid of the sprint, and potentially slow them at the same time. Now, of course, it has a pretty long recast, so you can't just spam it. But you can at least, it's going to be definitely nice to see how white mages sort of psych out, like, oh, they start running away, and then they turn around when they think the weapon throw is coming, so they can burn the weapon throw and make it not lose the sprint or deal the heavy. It is just crazy. That has so much room for good play and counterplay. That's got a lot of room for a lot of really cool plays. I can't wait to see that. Now, Enliven instantly restores 50% TP. I don't think I have to say much about that. That's Paladin, Monk, Dragoon. Paladins, why not give that to Warriors? Warriors are the ones with TP issues. Don't give that to Paladin. They got Riot Blade. Guess I can't complain right now. Next we have one for White Mage, Black Mage, Summoner, pretty much. It's called a Thyric Burst, deals unaspected damage with a potency of 170 to all nearby enemies, and decreases their skill speed. This is basically going to be the mage way of countering melees that are beating them up. They're going to have ways to reduce their skill speed so they can't hit them as often. This is definitely going to be so important for healers, especially to have, and black mages and summoners clearly, but they at least have some, instant cast spells to fall back on, but getting beat up like this is going to be insane. It's good that they have an ability that definitely targets counterplay, because counterplay is so important in PvP. I definitely cannot wait to see how people use that effectively. Now, Equanimity, there you go, Equanimity, probably pronouncing it wrong, allows casting without interruption by attacks for 10 seconds. Can't complain about that. That's as simple as it gets. Probably need that considering how easy it is to interrupt the target. Now we have Bard, White Mage, Black Mage, and Summoner on the next one. Mana Draw. Restores 30% maximum MP. Really? They have to give that to Bard? Great. Now we can sing Foe's Requiem even longer. It seems like Bard just... everybody, they hate us. They really don't want us to... Yeah, Bard, you need more MP, right? Yeah? No? Well, yeah, you do. I'm telling you right now. You're gonna get your MP back so you can sing longer. Please. Purify. However, for everybody else, that's fantastic because that's going to prolong the fights big time. Purify removes all detrimental effects, can be used regardless of status affliction. This is your PvP trinket, short and simple. Looks like it's going to have either a 3-minute or 4-minute cooldown based on enhanced Purify, shortening the recast down to 2.5 minutes. Usable by all classes, of course. And finally, White Mage and Scholar have their own, at the very end, attunement, which greatly enhances evasion while, I don't know why that's a different color, while, I don't know, okay, it seems like they have, seems like they're trolling me a little bit with this, this mixed fonts, because I can barely see it and I'm colorblind. Greatly enhances evasion while nullifying 90% of damage, cannot move or act. So it turns you into a turret, basically. A White Mage and a Scholar basically becomes damn near invincible right now. They reduce almost all the damage they take, and they have a much greater chance at actually evading it. So, definitely some great abilities for casters. A lot of people were really concerned how casters were going to compete in PvP. They definitely gave them all the tools they need to compete, and I'm really excited for PvP now. Now, of course, there are basic traits. These are PvP-only enhanced strength, dex, vit, int, mind, and piety traits. Nothing crazy. That's all it's signifying is that you can buy these traits for some increased damage or some, you know, increased intelligence, vitality, whatever works best for you. And I'm assuming that those are going to be included on the list of these PvP traits and abilities right here. As you can see, we're scrolling down to the PvP category of actions and traits, which, as you can see, you have 3 categories. Based on what we just saw above, it doesn't matter right now which Grand Company you're in. However, keep in mind that if you leave your Grand Company, you will have to get all your PvP abilities again. You will have to start from scratch. If you return to the old Grand Company you were in 30 days later, you will get them all back, since you will be in the corresponding Grand Company. This is probably in preparation for Frontlines coming later, which is going to be massive battleground type PvP, where Grand Companies will compete against each other. Now, players may equip up to 10 PvP actions at any given time. Realistically, I don't know exactly how that's going to work, considering it looks like one ability, no matter how enhanced it is, you get up to, you know, just look, these Paladins got 2 abilities. Like, how are they ever going to fill 10 slots? Yeah. And then, what these diamonds mean, how many times you've upgraded the skill. So if you have enhanced Thrill of War 3, it means you've upgraded the skill 3 times since you bought it using your ability points. So that is what these diamonds actually mean. That is a very clear use of it. Now, let's move on. My thoughts on that? Good. It forces you to grind out PvP, and it prolongs the experience. It's going to force people who are interested in it to play it very often, to get the right skills, to get good at it. So it's not just a gear grind, it's a skill grind as well. So you're going to be upgrading skills as you increase in ranks in PvP, as well as increasing your gear. Now, there is a PvP stat, Resilience, pretty much we all know. It's called Morale in this game, or Morale, however you want to pronounce it. And it affects the amount of damage dealt to other players, pretty much. Only comes into play in level 50 matches. Very important detail. Having it before level 30 matches doesn't do anything. It pretty much replaces physical and magical defense in influencing the damage you receive. However, they definitely want it to make it known, if you have more morale, you can deal more damage to enemies as well. So it's a 2-sided thing. It's a PvP set that affects your outgoing damage and incoming damage. So interesting. Have to see how that plays out. Not sure how it's going to play out when compared with all the other main stats that you have. On top of that, you have the PvP profile. Shows PvP EXP earned by fighting in PvP. Pretty much just explaining what it is. As you can see, you have your wins, your losses, your weekly performance, your overall performance, your actions and traits that you have active, as well as your arena ranking. And of course, it shows your ability, your action points. I don't been calling them ability points almost this whole time. Your action points available, used to learn PvP exclusive actions and traits. Nothing really special right there. Victory requirements, simple. Win in the allotted time. If 30 minutes are up, the match will end in a draw, pretty much. Reward, PvP gear. Now, the PvP gear here, I want to see if I can blow this up. Actually, it would be kind of hard for me to do that. I will post that over the video. I'll make sure that right now, in the actual video that I'm posting to YouTube, that I blow this image up so you can see the gear a lot more clearly. Those of you watching live, I will upgrade it after I'm done with this recording that I'm doing right now. PvP rank. As players participate in matches in the Wolves, and they will earn PvP XP and rise in rank. Each time you rank up, there will be granted action points. You need to rank up to get action points. Very, very important. Wondering how you can reset action points. Does it say right here, PvP titles differ? Does not say anything about resetting your action points. Hopefully it's not a permanent decision. PvP rank, PvP, EXP, and AP are all associated with the Grand Company you belong in. This is the warning that says if you leave your Grand Company, you're going to have to start from scratch, but if you go back to the Grand Company later, you'll be A-OK. So, that's it for PvP, or is it? There's actually more stuff, and I'm going to search down here to show you. Now, these are achievements, achieving rank PvP level 30, nothing big. These aren't exactly what I wanted to show you, but down here at the bottom, all the way, oh my goodness, how long is, I always forget how long this is. There is actually gear that requires PvP rank to be 30. Now, as you can see, the set is called Dire Wolf Earrings, etc., etc. So, let's actually type in PvP rank below. No, okay, there we go. So as you can see here, Direwolf Longsword, Direwolf, all of this stuff, materia effects active during PvP only, things like that. So clearly, this gear is going to require you to reach a specific rank to use the best gear. You're going to have the Break Blade, which is a gladiator arm, doesn't have anything. These are just new items altogether, by the way. So some of these items may be mixed in. I don't know exactly how they've organized them. However, cannot equip if PvP rank is below 30. That means that there will be gear that you can only get by reaching the maximum rank in PvP. So how long will it take to grind that out? Well, I guess we'll find out when 2.1 actually comes out. However, it's pretty cool that there is some incentive. The best PvP gear won't be gotten until you are at max rank. So you'll be working for basically mediocre PvP gear, and it looks like there's 3 sets total. You have an item level 55, 70, and 90, at least with the weapons. I'm assuming all the other gear will have similar ways of working with this. So overall, I'm very impressed with what they've done with PvP. They've turned it into something that's not just a gear grind, and this is obviously just the first step. This is just the arena PvP, and a lot of people aren't that excited for PvP in a Final Fantasy game. I'm willing to give it a chance. I mean, in the end, I do like PvP. I specifically like the arena format. I'm not a huge fan of the battleground format, so the fact that they're starting with the arena format is good for me. But we'll see how it expands in the future, and if they even do a good job with the 4 versus 4. I'm being optimistic about it, seeing how much work they put into it. I'm hoping that it all pays off in the end, along with the fixes to your positional checks, which are being improved for PvP as well as raiding. I'm hoping to see that this is actually going to be a great way to spend your time in the game for the long run, but fingers crossed, we'll see when 2.1 actually comes out. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV information. Those of you watching this live, I'm sorry that you have to see my outro as well. Also, be sure to like me on Twitter and Facebook. You can get regular updates about the videos that I'm doing, as well as when I'm streaming. By the way, be sure to follow me on Twitch. Got people watching me live right now. Be sure to follow me on Twitch for exclusive things like this, watching play Final Fantasy XIV, classic Final Fantasy. It's going to be streaming other games over the course of 2014. But thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.